Okay. Today we're taking a slightly closer look at the video equations and the different functions and features that it's got on it. I was totally a bit ambiguous when I was describing it in the Kickstarter video. And part of the reason for that is because I hadn't finished programming the firmware just here. But now it's done to the level that I'm going to send out on the first release. And so I thought I'd go through the features maybe more in depth. First thing we've got here is the equation slider. You notice as we move it, we start to pass through all the different equations we've got. Keep going. Cool. And the two buttons that affect that the most are video mute, mutes the image, take it off, unmutes it. Equation hold stops the slider from responding until you turn it back off. Lets you jump between equations without having to pass by other ones, which I find pretty useful. Over here we've got the color depth slider. So you'll notice when I pull it all the way here, we have, alas, only one color. As I start to introduce it, we start to get more and more color depth. And keep going. And color depth does affect the equation. Now we're right back at the top. The two other things we've got going on here are two modify sliders, and they feed into the equation slider, so they'll give you even more variation. So I move one here, I'm starting to get some different variations. And those variations affect each of the different equations very differently. And of course, all of these sliders are under CV control down here. Another thing that we've got is the shift button. This shifts the characters that we're using. So it'll usually start up in this mode with 0 lights. And so that is your regular alphanumeric characters. Looks good for some stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that it can just look a bit noisy on. So then we press it once, and we get our first set of characters. Press it again, we get a second set. And the third time we get another set. This is the offset button. So I hit offset here. This is color offset. So now I'm shifting the colors of our output here. It's more obvious if I grab something a little more static maybe. So here I am changing the colors. Here is the character offset, which allows me to change the character. And in equation mode, let's find something a bit, here we go. You'll notice that the character shift pretty drastically changes the appearance. I'll come back to these two and what they have to do. This is the mask option. So now I first turned on the mask. This is our first mask. It's a square mask, and this knob above it adjusts the size of the mask. What's exciting about this is if you go quickly, you can get some, come on, you can get some pretty cool glitchy masks. Let's bring it back up. This is the invert key. That inverts the mask. So now we're cutting a square hole in it. And this button below here changes what mask we're using. So now we're using blinds. Bring it inside. And again, you can invert that. Our third mask is a diamond. And once again, you can invert that. Our fourth mask is multi-equation mode. And in this case, you'll notice that the bottom and top halves are different equations. You select one equation with the equation slider as usual, and the other equation you select with the mask radius knob. So you'll see the top equation is changing as I rotate this. And invert just flips it. So now the bottom half of this is being controlled by this knob. And if we jump back around to our first mask, this button here is the mask offset button. So when I press mask offset, we're now applying our offset knobs to whatever is being masked. I've just turned on the mask offset LFO, which starts introducing variation to these offsets. So without it, your mask can seem a bit bland. Let's grab that. But with mask LFO, starting to get some variation in there. What else? I think that's a much more in-depth look at these features.